Record. Stream. And streaming. And refreshing. And getting Facebook up here. But I don't see anything under videos yet. Give it about 10 to 20 seconds. There we are. Mute. And share.
Share.
Yeah, you know, she plays in Vegas once in a while. Share
on your... Oh my God, I hate the story thing. I guess share on your story. No, share on your timeline.
Sunday night already? There we go.
Oops, I didn't even type anything in. I just shared it.
Yeah, I know. You pick the first one and it's bam, you shared it. So you got back from Canada. I don't understand this whole process of having your boarding pass at the gate as you're boarding the plane. You got to have...
I think you just need your ID at that point, right?
Well, some form of ID. Passport is encouraged because you're traveling internationally. You got to have it to get to security. Mm-hmm. You got to have it when you check in, and then you got to have it all the way to the gate as you're getting on the plane. I don't understand that last step. Why do you...
Yeah.
And I've already put it away every time. I've already put it away going, oh, I don't need this. I'm just getting on a plane. How could you have gotten that far without a passport? And why do they need to see it one more time?
Yeah. Well, see, especially coming back from Canada, we had to go through the luggage check and all our stuff, and then our backpacks and stuff. Then we go to a kiosk. I scan it, ask me some questions, and then give me a receipt.
Yeah.
I take that receipt. I have to scan it again to go through.
This is getting into the U.S. or getting into Canada?
Coming back into the U.S.
Okay.
And so I had to scan it again after that. And then when I went down to another line where we actually spoke to the customs agent, who was, clearly marked U.S. Agents, he looks at my passport, looks at the receipts, checks my picture with what's on the passport and what's on that crappy receipt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, which looks like a thermal printer or something.
Yeah, with a dot matrix print of your picture where you forget to look at the camera.
and then, like you said, I probably could have gotten on the plane with just my ID and the boarding pass.
Yeah.
But I already had the passport out, so I was just
coming back into the U.S. I'm glad I have global entry now.
Yeah. See, I didn't have global entry, but it's funny because TSA pre did show up on my ticket. I was like, well, I don't think it's going to do me much good.
It just helps domestically. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I learned that the first time, and as soon as I realized that wasn't any good, I ran out and got global entry. Even if I use it once a year, it's worth it.
Yeah, and it is. And we're talking about going to Ireland, and I'm seriously thinking about doing it, getting it before I go.
I've had TSA pre so long I had to renew it already. That blew me away.
5 years, right?
I think it's 5 years. Yeah, I renewed it this spring.
Well, the pre comes in handy. I like it.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, so I may do the global entry for in prep for our trip coming up.
There's a few instances where if you've got a 6 a.m. flight, it's like, it doesn't make much difference, except you don't have to take your laptop out and you don't have to take your shoes off. So you just go right on through. Yeah. But when the security lines are really long, like, Friday at 8 a.m. or 5 p.m. or, during a busy travel season like Thanksgiving, like zoom right through the security lanes.
Yeah. Actually, so this morning, we had a 7:15 flight. And I was like, great. So we're going to get up kind of early so we can get over there. But it was a small airport, and technically we were flying from London to Toronto. So that was domestic inside Canada. So I was like, I asked the guy at the hotel, what's the wait time usually at the airport? And he said, they're pretty good, especially if you're flying to Toronto. So I was like, well, I don't have any say-so in how far ahead I can get to Toronto before I go to the United States. So I just got to deal with that. So I was able to shorten my time to go to the small airport in London. So, we got there about 45 minutes before our flight. No problem. So
you had a direct from Charlotte to Toronto and then a small
to London.
Regional to London?
That's right.
Okay.
And it was weird walking out on the tarmac, because those planes, it's like there's some cones going over to the plane. And I got to take my luggage and stick it on the thing, to put it in the to load it up on the airplane. Yeah, well, that was kind of weird. But yeah, that was interesting. It wasn't that bad. It was like I think ultimately summed up, it was like about 3 hours worth of flying.
Well, that's not bad.
No, it wasn't too bad. Of course, we had to change. There was a big layover, but other than that, it was about 3 hours with flight time.
Cool.
So, London was pretty cool. I'll talk about it a little bit in the show, but
sure.
I went to I went to TennoCon, which is a convention for.
You got that in the Geek Library?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a convention. Just so everybody
we don't
knows.
have a question of the week yet.
Oh, we'll have one by the end of the show.
I'm sure
no, it's for Warframe. There's a game called Warframe, and there's a company called Digital. Digital. Anyway, they're based in London, and that's why it's there. So,
gotcha.
Harrison plays this game a lot.
Yeah, because London, Canada isn't some place you hear of often.
No, it's not. Digital Extremes. That's who makes it.
Okay.
And they put on this 1-day conference. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll give all the details about it later.
Yeah. Shall we begin? No Brian.
Yeah. No Brian?
No, Mary wasn't feeling well, so he said, I'll be a good husband and stay home and take care of her. No Ben.
How about being a good podcaster for once?
A good tenant.
A good tenant.
Renting some place doesn't mean you have to be on your landlord's podcast.
Yeah,
it's in his contract.
Yeah.
Knew I should have put that in the contract. All right, let us begin. Here we go in 5, 4, 3. Technorama episode 569, Rude, Crude, and Podcasting. Hello and welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Even though we've been around for a really, really long time, you may have just discovered us through who knows how, and we are glad you are here. I am Chuck Tomasi. Oh, and if you're returning, thank you. Thank you for coming back. It's always fun to reach out.
We're desperate for listeners.
Listeners, viewers, doesn't matter. We're bi-directional.
Yeah, it's 2019. We're bi-directional.
I'm Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and joining me all the way across the coast, across the country, is Kreg Stepp. How are you, Kreg?
I'm doing good. I did some traveling, saw some video game stuff. It was good. It was a good week.
Good. We will talk about your traveling in just a little bit.
Yeah.
We have lots to talk about in this show. Let's start with the feedback, shall we?
Why not?
Yes, because we have a question of the week that we asked and got lots and lots of answers. Oh, we get answers.
We get your letters.
I'm trying to mute our video as I'm pulling it up.
Darn videos that play automatically.
I know, right?
Those letters. I love those letters. Let's
Love
find
'em.
out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mailman. Mail today.
Mail today.
Saha Doom is here, it says on the chat.
Whoa! What?
Wow, yes.
He's alive?
Our question of the week last week was, if you could install one update to your body, what would it be? And we got Justin Deal who says, just one? Cyber Eyes. But I wouldn't mind a wireless data connection with Cranial Cyberdeck to go with it. Wait, this isn't Shadowrun FB group? SF Edwards says, enhanced metabolism. Weber Baker, more data storage. I would like to have better data recall.
I want to upgrade my storage to SSD.
I'm sure there's... Why? Is your brain too noisy?
Yeah, it's a little too quiet. No, too slow.
The head action it shakes your head back and forth as it's going.
Yeah, especially when I get near the microwave.
Rachel says, mood/serotonin regulator. Bye-bye, depression. That or the ability to fly. I like that, or.
If I can't have that one, then I'll just go with flying.
PJ says, can I actually uninstall joint pain?
Yeah, it's malware. install it.
Kent has one that I said, USB/Thunderbolt port for uploading knowledge. I often thought of something, but whatever you put in, it's going to be outdated in about 10 years. I mean, imagine if you did this 30 years ago. I'd like a serial port. I can't find a TB25 anywhere.
I'm at 9600 baud. Oh, they surpassed it. 92.
That's
19.2.
the fastest my 8250 UART will go. Yes, I do remember the numbers of my UARTs.
Compression. That'd be a good.
Gary
one,
just says, I want a fully functional left knee. I think this is just people complaining about their ailments at this point. Melissa says bionic joints. Scott Tyler says a kegerator. That's the update he wants.
Wow. Okay.
Jonathan says I'd love to have a non-AFib heart. Bud Collar says hips. Jones says new knees. Jack Mangan, I think, is one of my favorite ones. Obviously, a permanent head of hair is far more important than vital organs or any other body parts that improve the quality of life.
Hey, by the way, all these answers are feeding into Facebook's algorithm to throw you ads. So.
That's right. Well, Jack's wife, Tiffany, says,
hey,
to be stretchy.
So if you see knee joint stuff and hair replacement and eye attention, you're going to see all those ads.
I can only imagine what Tiffany's going to see because she wants to be stretchy, strong Elastigirl.
Yeah.
Diana says, I want a passion for moderate exercise.
Moderate passion.
New knees, eyes, 22 comments, and no one has said lasers yet from Jason. Gary Lindros wants better eyes and more efficient metabolism. We got Phil Rossi, definitely a faster metabolism. John, my cousin, says, must the upgrade have existed in a previous version?
No.
Okay.
Why not?
Brad Miller says he wants a brain bleach button to remove the last few minutes of those links that didn't stay
That's so when he's
blue.
getting arrested, he can just hit the button and then forget everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thomas Reed says, I want to be able to reset back to age 20. I'm sure we're going to get more of these as the week goes on. So that is posted on Facebook. We'll have another question for you at the end of the week and post that on social media. End of the show. I'm sorry. Well, I'll post it at the end of the week as well. So you can keep up. Follow Technorama Podcast or follow me or Kreg, and we'll get that question out there. We'd love to hear your answers to our creative questions. We're never unimpressed with the creative solutions. Shall we go on with the history? Oh, wait. Here, we'll finish off the song. I need like a double speed on this thing.
See, if you didn't play that, it would be like an open HTML tag, and we would always be in the feedback for the whole show.
An open parenthesis in a sentence that doesn't close.
Yes. That's right.
Or an asterisk that doesn't point to anything. There's a sniglet for that called aster-exasperation. You look to the bottom of the page and there's no explanation of what this asterisk is for.
Doesn't an asterisk kind of point to everything?
No. You're definitely demonstrating two-dimensional thinking.
Yeah. That's me.
That's Con.
Classic Kreg. Classic Con.
All right, let's do the history now. This one.
Okay.
And we don't have to roll for it. It's on this day in history for July 10th, 2019. This is the 191st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 174 days remaining in 2019. It was on this date in 1212. Or would that be 100212?
It was.
Anyway.
Don't.
That the most severe of several early fires of London burns most of the city to the ground. They had lots of fires.
And it was also in this date in 1499 that the Portuguese explorer Nicolau Coelho returns to Libsyn after discovering the sea route to India.
He returns to Libsyn? Was he podcasting?
He was on another hosting platform.
You mean Lisbon? As in
Lisbon, excuse me. Oh, yeah, I messed that up.
That's the L in LGBTQ.
Yeah. Lisbon, Portugal. Lisbon. You're messing me up.
Lisbon is the capital of Portugal.
I'm messing myself up. So after discovering the sea route to India as a companion of Vasco da Gama.
I was waiting for you to say the sea route to Indiana.
Yeah.
That same date in 1789, Alexander Mackenzie reaches the Mackenzie River Delta. How fortunate for him that it was named after him.
Yeah, that's convenient. Let's see, on July 10th, 1913, the temperature in Death Valley, California hits 134 Fahrenheit, which, this last week I was having to do conversions to 57 Celsius, the highest temperature ever to be recorded on Earth.
Although Phoenix gets close every summer. We're nearly there. It was also on this date in 1925 in Dayton, Tennessee, the so-called monkey trial begins of John T. Scopes, a young high school science teacher accused of teaching evolution in violation of the Butler Act. We saw how John Delancey did a little skit like that on the Star Trek cruise.
Oh, that's right. That's exactly right. But I lost my place.
July
Oh, yeah.
10th.
July 10th, 1938, Howard Hughes begins a 91-hour airplane flight around the world that will set a new record.
Yeah, you thought you had some long airline flights.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
It was on that date in 1962 that Telstar, the world's first communications satellite, is launched into orbit.
And on July 10th, 1966, the Chicago Freedom Movement, led by Martin Luther King Jr., holds a rally at Soldier Field in Chicago. As many as 60,000 people attended.
Also today in 1978, ABC World News Tonight premieres on ABC. That's good because you wouldn't want the ABC World News Tonight showing up on CBS.
I know, it'd be all screwy. Lost my place again. Oh, on July 10th, 1997, in London, scientists report the findings of the DNA analysis of a Neanderthal, excuse me. I can read. Neanderthal skeleton, which supports the out of Africa theory of human evolution, placing an African Eve at 100,000 to 200,000 years ago. Come on.
Not to be confused with the African morning. You have to have the African Eve and the African morn.
Sounds like my dad going, hey, let's meet between, 7 and 7:30. Well, wait, Dad, what is it?
19 years ago today, EADS, the world's second largest aerospace group, is formed by the merger of Aerospatiale, Matra, DASA, and CASA. I'll trust him on that one.
Yeah. On July 10th, 2007, Erden Ook begins the first solo human-powered circumnavigation of the world.
Happy birthday goes out of this date to English mathematician and astronomer Roger Coates, born on this date in 1682.
And I see what you did today. You did this on purpose. Frederick August von Quinst, German geologist and paleontologist, was born on the same date in 1809.
Alvin Graham Clark,
Quinstead.
American astronomer, was born 187 years ago today. I believe that's the Clark telescope was named after him.
And German brewer, co-founder of Anheuser-Busch.
You better get this right.
Adolphus Busch was born 180 years ago today.
Bush.
Bush.
Born July 10th, 1856, Serbian-American physicist and engineer Nikola Tesla.
And Karl Orff, German composer and educator, was born on the same date in 1859.
He's the guy who wrote Go Fortuna.
He puts the oof in education.
Orff.
Orff.
German chemist and academic Nobel Prize laureate Kurt Adler. Or is it Adler? Hansel? He was born 117 years ago today.
And David Brinkley, American journalist, was born on the same date in 1920.
He would have been 99. Owen Chamberlain, the American physicist and academic Nobel Prize laureate, was born 99 years ago. They share a birthday. How's that?
Yeah. And Eunice Kennedy Shriver, American activist, co-founder and Special Olympics, was born on that same date in 1921.
Fred Gwynn, who played Herman Munster, he was born 93 years ago today.
And Russian mathematician and academic Grigory Barenblatt was born on the same date in 1927.
Belarusian general, pilot, and astronaut Pyotr Klimuk is 77.
And born July 10th, 1945, American actor Ron Glass.
Shepherd Book. Also turning 72 is... Uh-oh, the music's running
Hurry
out.
Hurry up. We're talking about it.
No, I can't get that far that fast. Should have seen it coming. Also
We could have
turning
pulled it off.
72 is American singer-songwriter, producer, and actor Arlo Guthrie. Because you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant.
That's right. American singer, songwriter, actress, fashion designer Jessica Simpson is 39 today. Wow.
Fashion designer? She's 39.
Yes, I'm kind of surprised. I thought she was a little older than that, but okay.
All right. Happy birthday to our listener birthdays today. Today, as this show goes out, July 10th.
Today.
Kevin Devon, long time ago podcaster. It was kind of how Kreg and I got introduced. And Stephen Trow, a.k.a. Redneck Tech, on the 11th. The 12th has two birthdays. Shadowbird 712 of Shadowbird Studios. There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry for the cheap plug, y'all. Francois. We haven't heard from Bookaroo in forever. He's also on the 12th. And absent but not forgotten from the Binary Studios, good friend from TG Geeks, Ben Rangaton.
Who?
On the
I'm sorry,
13th.
the name doesn't ring a bell. Who?
Yeah, they got to show up every once in a while. Otherwise, they're going to get forgotten about.
I know, right? Well, in all fairness, they do give us a shout out on their show.
Oh, all the time. Very appreciative of that.
Very
And
much so.
that's the way it was on this date in history for July 10th, 2019. Bum, 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 bum.
There you go.
Screwing up all the bullets, so I'm going to stop editing now. All right, we have news, right?
Good startling news, everyone.
This one.
News and weather, everyone.
I did the news and weather because this has to do with atmosphere. We like the atmosphere. This is from Universe Today, friend of the show, Fraser Kane. His website reports that NASA telescopes reveal the atmosphere of a strange hybrid exoplanet. Out there in space is an unusual exoplanet named Gliese 3470b, also known as GJ 3470b. It is a strange world, kind of like a hybrid between Earth and Neptune. It has a rocky core like Earth, but is surrounded by an atmosphere made of hydrogen and helium. That combination is unlike anything in our own solar system. The planet orbits a red dwarf star called Gliese 3470 in the constellation Cancer. GJ 3470b is about 12.6 Earth masses, meaning it's roughly halfway between Earth and Neptune in mass. That's pretty darn big.
Yeah, sounds like
Neptune is about 17 Earth masses, by the way. Thanks to the Kepler mission, we know that there are many exoplanets in this mass range. It's possible that up to 80% of the planets fall into this range. Though future exoplanet missions will no doubt clarify that. Until now, astronomers haven't had a good look at the atmosphere of one of these planets, and so their formation has been a bit of a mystery. The Hubble and Spitzer space telescopes have teamed up to take a closer look at the atmosphere of good old George Joseph 3470 Baker. Beta? I'm not sure. I think it goes alpha beta. Anyway, we'll work on that.
Right.
And it's the first time that astronomers have been able to identify the chemical fingerprint of the atmosphere of a planet like this. What they found is that the planet has an almost pristine primordial atmosphere of hydrogen and helium without any heavier elements present. And that presents a mystery, which we are going to leave for you if you want to follow through the show note links over at chuckchat.com.
Or visit this planet yourself.
Put that on your bucket list. I'm sure the cruise season is just getting started.
Yeah, once we get that cryogenic stuff going.
Stasis travel, anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, now, we had a solar eclipse this past week in South America,
Yes.
in case you weren't paying attention, because, sometimes you miss these things if they're not happening in your own backyard. And it's the only one of 2019. Total solar eclipse. Kreg, tell us about this.
Yeah, so, of course, was it last year? Everybody went nuts about the
2017.
eclipse we had. 17? 17.
2 years ago.
Yeah, it was already 2 years ago?
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess it was. The eclipse that we had, it was a lot of fun, but the total solar eclipses are the Super Bowls of astronomy.
Except there's no
I don't think
expensive halftime show.
I was gonna say there's no commercials, but teams of scientists develop game plans for capturing data months or years in advance of each one, as do amateur astronomers working to create their own stellar images or execute their own studies. And we talked about a few of those last time. And it all comes down to a few precious seconds under the moon's shadow. When the clock runs out and the sun reemerges, it's game over. Ba-ba-bum. So the eclipse on Tuesday, the last Tuesday, which had been July 2nd.
Yep.
In Chile and Argentina was uniquely special experience. Not only did it occur during the so-called solar minimum, when the activity of the sun's 11-year cycle of energy release is at its lowest, thereby reducing the amount of clutter for the certain kinds of research. And it happens to streak directly above several of the world's most prominent observatories.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty lucky. Well, I guess not lucky. Maybe it was planned out.
Yeah, decades in advance, I'm sure.
Yeah. So their operators chose locations in Chile, Atacama Desert, because of the pristine viewing conditions there. I'm sure there's no light pollution there. I hope not. Conditions that are also contributed to incredibly crisp and clear viewing of the eclipse, even if the big telescopes are shuttered for the event to protect their sensitive instruments.
Mm-hmm.
So the event didn't disappoint. The writer says, I observed with researchers and small collection of enthusiasts atop the Cerro. I can't roll. I never could roll my R's. I never could roll my R's. Cerro Torolo. It sounds like a candy. The Inter-American Observatory, operated by the National Optical Astronomy Observatory. Though the planning for the event began years ago, final on-site preparations took place in the days, hours, and minutes leading up to the 2 minutes of totality on the late afternoon in the southern winter, with the final push arriving after pre-dawn drive across the mountaintop from La Serena.
There's something we should have had for last week's question about what do you find amazing that a lot of other people just go, meh, is the fact that the moon can cover the sun perfectly because of the distance and the size relationship being.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it could totally not be that way.
Oh,
the moon could be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, and it'd be a different story. Well,
Right.
if it's bigger, I guess it'd still cover it. But
If it was a little smaller, it'd just be a transit. That's
well, yeah. If it was
crazy.
bigger, you wouldn't get the corona and the all the kind of effects, or
Right.
maybe a little bit, but that was it.
Yep. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, this is really cool. I know we had a good time when the eclipse came around, and I remember we talked about a story, and I read it just recently about a guy that planned it out perfectly on the 2017 eclipse, where he was on a flight, got a window seat, and
he flew
made
through the
sure
shadow.
and had the pilot actually do a loop.
An auto-played video. Thank you.
Oh, so did a loop so he could get the perfect shot, and he had a fantastic shot. So that, talking about planning it ahead of time, that guy did his work. He really took care of that. So anyway, go check it out. Anyway, you can go see the pictures, the drone pictures and pictures from the eclipse.
We showed some of them
Pretty nice.
on here as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of cool stuff. We have another
If you're
story.
not watching it, you can go check it out from the show notes.
One more space story. Scientists are attempting to open a portal to a parallel universe. What could possibly go wrong?
We're gonna let in all kinds of Spider-Man and Supermans and mix them all together.
The parallel universe where Technorama's a hit. Could 2019 be the year humans open the first portal to a shadowy dimension which mirrors our own world? Scientists in Oak Ridge National Laboratory in eastern Tennessee hope so, and have completed building equipment that they are set to test this summer, which may allow us the first glimpse of a parallel universe. Oh, maybe we're just getting a glimpse of it. We're not actually going there and letting people through, which could be identical in many ways to our own, with mirror particles, mirror planets, and possibly even mirror life. That is according to Leah Broussard, the physicist behind the project, who described the attempt to reveal a hidden shadow world as, quote, pretty wacky.
Is that a technical term?
In an interview with NBC last week. The discovery of a concealed mirror world may sound like science fiction, but from Stranger Things series, yeah, that's kind of where we get it from. By the way, I haven't seen season 3 yet. It just came out.
Yeah, haven't either. Nope.
But I did finish season 3 of Jessica Jones. But that's for another discussion another time. But is repeatedly suggested by physicists as a tempting means of explaining anomalous results. However, as of yet, hard evidence such as the realm exists has refused to manifest itself. One set of anomalous results, and the ones which inspired the research, date back to the 1990s, when particle physicists were measuring the time it took for neutron particles to break down into protons once they were removed from an atom's nucleus. So 2 separate experiments saw the neutrons broke down at differing rates instead of decaying and becoming protons at exactly the same rate as was expected. All right, it goes on to, it's a rather lengthy article about this experiment and what the results were, but hey, we'll keep you posted if anyone from a parallel universe shows up here.
Yeah, we'll let you know. Actually, we'll have him on the show. That would be Brian.
He's from the parallel universe called the guest house.
That's the only way I can explain it. Right.
All right. Should we take a break? Real quick break and be back with some other stuff that's related to the show.
Yes, let's do that.
All right. Real quick. We'll be right back. Hang on.
Hello, IT. Have you tried powering it on or powering it off? Okay, is it plugged in? All right, I'll be up.
Phil, this is a pump. This isn't an IT.
Oh, sorry. I was doing something from the IT crowd because I thought this was a nerd podcast. We were doing a drop-in for.
Well, this isn't Technorama.
Oh, wait a minute.
This is the Brit Yankee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Technorama. That's that geeky thing with Kreg and what's his name? Chuck Tomasi. Who's it? Tomato. No, it's Tomasi. isn't it?
Tomasi, yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Hasn't he gone out to Arizona?
He's moved to where the retirement.
Oh, I know. Is he
I
retired?
didn't even know he was that old.
There you go. So
He
that's
looks
why-
so good for his age.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
think-
82
Really?
is not that old.
Oh, I know. What's that in binary? 101? No.
I'll forget it.
Yeah, whatever.
You know what?
Okay, I'll tell you what. How about a happy Christmas to all the Technorama viewers? Oh, wait a minute. Are they viewers or are they listeners?
A little of both.
Oh, really? They swing both
They
ways.
do.
Oh,
Those boys are on top.
Well, a happy Christmas from the Brit Yankee podcast from me.
And happy Christmas and a new year from him.
Oh, good man. Cheers. Whoa, what a clang, baby! Oh.
Hi, this is Dean Hackett from the X-Files, and you're listening to Technorama with Chuck and Kreg.
I want to believe too.
I intentionally play that this time of year. The Christmas promo.
Christmas in July. Actually, we should do a Christmas episode.
Because that's just the whacked out job we do. Where are you going to find Christmas stories about the show right now?
I could figure it out.
Well, I don't know. We probably have enough in our Evernote backlog.
I would go upstairs right now and dig through my bucket and pull out my Santa hat right now.
We'll go back even further than Christmas. We're going to go back to
St. Patrick's Day?
1969
Oh.
and talk about Apollo 11. That's your cue, Kreg.
Oh, excuse me. All right. So, back in 1969, not long after I was born, there's been some new information come to light about the Apollo 11 crew and a once classified anomaly that nearly killed NASA's first moon astronauts. Oh,
A lot of things could have killed them.
I know. Well, the vacuum of space to begin with.
Getting stuck on the moon.
Yeah, not coming back. Apollo 11 is rightfully hailed as an extraordinary success for the U.S. After all, NASA rocketed humans to the moon's surface for the first time and brought them home alive. But there were quite a few calls during the historic mission that could have been ended in tragedy. So minutes ahead of the moon landing, for instance, the alarms blared inside the lunar landing craft, indicating that the flight computer was overloaded and might quit. Was it overheating?
Didn't you? Yeah, that was on. I think we talked about this last week. First Man, the movie First Man.
Right.
They're going along, and all of a sudden it goes, and they just sort of go, "We've got an alert on blah blah blah." And he says, "I just ignore it."
They thump it. They thump it like they normally do.
Well, yeah, they thumped it, and then they said, "Just ignore it." So they flipped the switch, and the light turned off.
Yeah.
What
Okay,
else?
so indicating the flight.
Surprise
Then a
crater.
surprise crater.
Surprise!
What a surprise! Like this, it's like, oh, I didn't see that tree there. It just got showed up. And a surprise crater threatened to botch the landing. So Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and the two moonwalkers used up nearly all of their fuel navigating to safer lunar pastures.
Yeah, that's a well-known fact as well.
Yeah. These other stories, frozen fuel lines, a stuck hatch, busted switch, required them to leave the moon, well shared among spaceflight historians.
Mm-hmm.
But according to a forthcoming book, the book's 3 astronauts may have been in far more peril than previously reported. A serious anomaly occurred as the crew careened towards the landing on Earth. According to Nancy Atkinson, the science journalist and author who detailed the formally classified information about the events in her new book, 8 Years to the Moon, The History of the Apollo Missions. Through my interviews and research of the book, I uncovered a serious anomaly that occurred during the Apollo 11's return to Earth. The event was discovered only after the crew.
Yeah, the book already came out July 2nd.
Let's see. For their 8-day mission, I was trying to skip ahead and find the actual anomaly. The anomaly happened less than an hour before the crew was landed. Let's see. Atkinson tells it for most of the 8-day mission, the crew were inside.
So
the
the piece I see is the problem happened just before Apollo 11 returned to Earth, causing a discarded space module to nearly crash into the crew's capsule.
Oh yes,
Yikes.
yes.
So they got done. There's the lunar module, which they took down to the moon. Then they blasted off, and they had to redock with the command module.
That's right.
And the only part that really came back was the command module. So they discarded the lunar module. They came back with discarded the service module, and that stuff basically burned up in the atmosphere. But the anomaly happened less than an hour before the Apollo 11 crew landed. As Atkinson tells it, most everyone at NASA did not realize the peril it put the astronauts in until weeks after they returned to Earth.
Can you imagine going, whoa?
That was a close call.
Yeah, we dodged a bullet there, didn't we?
And there's even a cool picture if you go through the a picture I hadn't seen before. You've probably seen the tragedy of the Columbia space shuttle where it was burning up over like Texas and the skies of Texas.
Yeah, right.
The Apollo 11 command module and service module are shown as these sort of same streaking fireballs coming through the sky at thousands of miles per hour, creating superheated plasma in the process. They have a picture of it from July 24th, 1969. Most of the lights are pieces of the disintegrated service module. Wow. There's some cool stuff that goes on in that mission.
Yeah, no, it seems like every once in a while we still get a little nugget of something else that was interesting about that whole mission.
Yeah, or the transcript. Remember we saw that a while ago, the printed transcript of what happened and what they were communicating back and forth.
Yeah.
That was some cool stuff. All right. I forgot to play the Hacks and Strange Stories music, but that was part of the Hacks and Strange Stories. We're going to go on to the shout out to the chat room. I see John Miller Jr., Myron Dupler, we mentioned. Zahadoom is in there. Yep. You and me and Scott Tyler and Guy Johnson Jr., whom I used to work with. Michael King, who sent me an email today on something. and Tim Elliott. Who do you
and
see?
I see Scott Sweat, one of my brother's old friends, and Myron Dupler. I can't remember what names you said.
Zahadum.
Huh?
Myron Zahadum.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Cool.
So thank
Welcome.
you for joining us. It is Sunday night, 9:30 when we do this show, 9:30 Eastern time. So do your calculations for whatever. Maybe we should just give UTC in case everybody wants to join us from Japan. I don't know. It could happen. Maybe we're really big in Japan for whatever reason.
We're the Bill and Ted of Japan.
I know I got quite a following at work from India. Maybe I can get some of them on board.
Yeah.
Although this has nothing to do with work material. This is our creative outlet that we do on Sunday nights. Join us on Facebook or go over to chuckchat.com and you'll find all the links there. So follow Technorama Podcast on Facebook. You get an announcement when we're live. It's a lot of fun. We also want to give a thank you to our patrons. Oh, I love this music. We have a new patron. New patron this week, so wait for it at the end. Thank you to the likes of Kyle Nishioka, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Mike Wills, Mega Podtastic, a.k.a. Crazy Joe, Night Gig Studios, that would be the JT Shea, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, John Noble. Yes, our John Noble.
That one.
No,
okay.
You could hear the listener say it right then. They're all saying it at the same time now. We don't even need to say it anymore.
That's actually what I was listening for.
Everybody, yeah, I heard it. Chris MC, Alexis Duran, Saturday Morning Media. That would be Grant Pachoco. Steve Therian, Yorga Shrawen, John Miller Jr. Anybody online gets their free bell.
There you go.
There. Amber Elstad, Harold McKinstry, Amy Bowen. So you not only get your name shouted out, if you're online and you're a patron member, you get the
like a double shout out.
Here, we could even do this. There.
Yeah, that's better.
John Miller Jr., Amber Elstad, Harold McKinstry, Amy Bowen, Denise Inglis, Stephen Weshy, more recent Dean Jensen, Dandy Mancoyer, and joining us after all these years, thankfully, NCAF1, a.k.a. Mark Kilfoyle.
Now, you see his username's the encaffeinated one.
Yes.
Well, so it begs to say that, if you can forego a cup of coffee,
I don't think he can forego a cup of coffee.
I'm sure he can spare one. You take that money and put it towards your favorite creators. We all win, right?
Something like that. We appreciate every one of you because you help offset the costs of hosting and software upgrades and the expenses. I just discovered there's 2 cameras in the studio that don't want to play, so I have to figure out what to do with that. But if we ever get any co-hosts back in the studio, that would be a problem.
I know.
Why
are they not coming to see you, Chuck?
If you want to become a patron, go over to patreon.com/Technorama Podcast, and you can find out more for the low price of less than a cup of coffee. We would appreciate it. And
yeah, see, if NCAF can do it, you can do it.
And he's going to find out what this whole Patreon extra content is all about.
Yeah,
so
I'm apologize ahead of time.
He'll learn this week.
That's right.
All right, I'm going to kill the music and move on to the media corner.
Welcome to Blockhead Video. Hey, where can I find some good information about music and TV and videos and things? Over here in the media corner.
We have a rather humorous video to share with you. It's a Boston Dynamics robot has had enough, but it's not Boston Dynamics. The video was made by a group. The watermark says Boss Town Dynamics. Yeah, and they're playing monkey in the middle with the robot, and finally the robot gets fed up. And if you're watching the video, Donna's going to roll that. Where it's just...
I like how the robot finally stops and lowers its arms. Is like, no.
Stares at the one guy and then kicks him square in the jimmies, and then turns around and side kicks to the guy in the back of him. Takes him down and then takes on the camera, and then the camera goes and the clip starts over. So
that is hilarious. That is so well done.
Fun little 10-second video.
I had to watch it like 3 or 4 times. I like the robot's action. He goes, like the robot's fine. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Stop.
Hang on. I've had enough. So
Yeah, that's
A
hilarious.
plus for creativity. It says this is a HQ CGI renderer. The lighting in the bot is a little weird. The ambient occlusion off the floor is a little different, but the coordination with the people is great and it's well animated. There's people looking at professional people who do this would notice that. I did not. So thanks for ruining my fun, man.
Right. Well, it is from the subreddit Fake History Porn.
I'll have to keep an eye on that. Related to Boston Dynamics, one of my very good friends, very old and dear friends, Steve, his daughter just got a job with Boston Dynamics. So if there's
really?
scary robots to be had, she'll know about them first.
Wow. Yeah. Send them our way.
All right. You and Harrison saw Spider-Man Far From Home.
Well, yeah. So I'm gonna roll this all together.
Okay.
What we did in the Geek Library because they kind of all related. So
Tell us, you were on a trip.
We went on a trip over. Yeah, in my 50 years on this planet, I finally left the country on one of its birthdays. So I was in Canada for July 4th. But
what did the Facebook post say? Happy Treason Day.
Yeah, Happy Treason Day.
Happy from the Brits. Like Happy Treason Day, colonists or something.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, we went to London, Ontario for Tenacon, which is a convention, and I'll talk about that in a second. But when we first got there, I asked the lady came and picked us up from the airport to go pick up a rental car. And as she was driving us, to drop us off and so we could take the car, I asked her what's really good to do around here in London, Ontario. And she named a couple of restaurants, and then she said that there's a festival going on. And then she goes, there's a drive-in right out of town. I went, a drive-in? She said, yeah, it's actually pretty good. And I thought,
a drive-in theater, not a drive-in restaurant.
Yes, a drive-in theater. And I thought maybe they're showing Spider-Man Far From Home. Sure enough, they were. So as Harrison and I were far from home, I figured, what the heck? We'll go see a movie. So we went to the theater. They had 2 screens there, and it was really cool because it looked like almost like the scene from Back to the Future. Had little concession stands. Everything's kind of spread out. There's the movie screens. There were people there. They obviously come there often, had their kids, and some of them were. One guy had him and his wife had a chair and a table set up in the back of his pickup truck. They obviously do this all the time. The screen was great. It was a great atmosphere to just kick back and watch a movie, and it really left me wishing that there was more drive-ins around because drive-in theaters, because I thought that was a lot of fun.
They were a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, and luckily the rental car I had a sunroof or moonroof, whatever you want to call it.
So you stand on the seats and look out.
That's exactly what I did. No, so it was comfortable. The temperature went down, but yeah, it was great. Spider-Man Far From Home was a lot of fun too. I won't offer any spoilers or anything other than say I had a great time watching that movie. That was a lot of fun.
It's doing really well at the box office.
Yeah, Tom Holland, I think he really puts a right spin on that character, and I think he does a really good job. So if you're into Marvel, and like I am, you'll enjoy the movie. But yeah, the driving was cool. So
what
anyway,
else did you do up in good old Canada, Great White North?
Canada. Well, I was disappointed it didn't look like Narnia. So, but other than that,
you were expecting snow?
Yeah,
in July?
Snow and some unicorns at least.
There goes our Patreon from NCAF.
That's right. Yeah, he's gonna start erasing it right now. Well, let's see. We just did normal stuff, and then except for on Saturday we went to Tenacon, which is a one-day convention put on by Digital Extremes, who is headquartered in London, Ontario. Mm-hmm. They put on it. They produce a game called Warframe, and Warframe's kind of an open-ended game. They have there's a story to it, but there's lots of missions you can go on, and you can just kind of. I've had an account there for 2 years. I've played it some. You just go in there and shooting, and although my son is super into it, so we met up with one of his friends that he's met online at the convention and hung out with them all day, him and his mom. The convention was great. There's a lot of art, because if you see the game, you'll see that it's not your typical squarish looking robots and stuff. There's a lot of fluid, kind of organic feel to the art that goes along in there as well. And it's free to play. You can totally just download it right now and play it, which is a neat feature. And they do offer, some things you can buy, but if you go and mine those things in the game, spend the time, you can get them anyway. So you don't have to spend the money, but they do make money off of in-game purchases and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool. We saw a panel talking about voice acting in the game, and we saw the big reveal for some of the things that are coming in the game. Some of those things, if you're like I'm an old school Quake guy. Do you ever play Quake, Chuck?
Is that the one with this?
No. So things like multiplayer games. Yeah. They laid out some really cool multiplayer stuff that's coming. That reminded me kind of like what I would want in a Star Trek game, where you got a guy flying the ship. I know it takes more people to fly, a starship, but say one guy's flying and you have two other people in your squad. They went out, left your ship, went over, infiltrated another ship, took it over, and then you and that other ship, and you're seeing the way they got it set up in the different screens. Then that ship, you turn them onto the other enemy ship. So it went from a hand-to-hand combat to all of a sudden now you got two ships flying. It was really kind of mind-blowing, some of the stuff they were doing. What I'm saying. And what else was cool is if there's other squads like nearby, which are inside the game, and these are actually other people doing stuff, you can think of like on Endor. Remember they had the shield going around the Death Star? Well, they had something similar to that. So they summoned some people that were on the planet, and that squad on the planet went and took down the shield generator that was on the planet while you're fighting in space. So you kind of brought these other people into your own game. It was really cool. So anyway,
did any Ewoks die?
Not Saturday. But and I put this note in here. As we were standing in line, there was an older gentleman. When I say older, he's probably just a few years older than I am. So compared to everybody else there, he was older and I was older. But he said, I don't think he realized how old I was, because he starts talking about some older stuff gaming wise. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah. And then he said, yeah, it's kind of like an old fashioned LAN party where we used to take our computers to other people's houses and play games. I was like, yeah, I know what a LAN party is. I told him, I remember the first time I ever did a LAN party, we had a coaxial network running through the house. He's like, oh, yeah.
Does anybody have a Terminator?
Yeah, just thought it was funny. He called it an old fashioned LAN party. Anyway,
well, you had a good time.
If you're into gaming, check out Warframe. I thought it was good, and they do put it. I think their passion for the developers' passion for building the game, I think it shows, because everybody was really into it. Kind of like at our convention, our user convention that we have for our work stuff. You get people that are really impassioned about what they're working on and what they'd like to see and that kind of stuff. That's the kind of vibe I was getting there as well, which is really cool.
All right.
Anyway, there you go.
Thanks for the wrap up.
Yep.
Are you heading to any others anytime soon?
Dragon Con.
We're both going to be at Dragon Con. We got to mention that.
I got to save my pennies. I'm ready to go.
I just did an inventory of my cosplay stuff. Realized I had some supplies that needed replenishing and some adaptations that needed doing. So it's that time of year when we're in final prep mode for the big one. What is it? About 57 days left now? It's not long.
Yeah.
It's coming up fast.
I got to do it. I got some tasks on my list for going through the Robot Santa, making sure he's up in. He actually should be he should be just like he was when I put him in the box.
You'd be surprised what happens.
Yeah.
All right, and we do have a new character joining us. Well, not a new character, but a new cosplayer joining us for the parade. But we're not going to let the cat out of the bag in that one.
I just got inspired for something. I'm going to tell you offline.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you during the show.
Hermes Conrad?
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that.
Great gorilla from Manila.
I would like. You know what? I would like to see John Miller Jr. come and cosplay that down at, with us at.
The invitation's open, man. The
Yes.
invitation's open. Alrighty, that takes us to the end of the show. If you want to get in touch with us, you know what to do. If you're watching, there's the info on the bottom. 707-530-2428. That's 707-530-CHAT. We'll get you our listener voice line. Send us an email, technorama@chuckchat.com. Follow us on Facebook, Technorama Podcast. All that other good stuff. You can find that. We should probably be doing this while the music is going. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Play that music.
I knew something was missing. 569 shows, and we're still figuring it out. So join us there.
One day we'll get there.
Yeah, maybe someday it'll be a well-oiled machine, but then it wouldn't be Technorama now, would it?
No.
ChuckChat.com. Click the Technorama page, and you will find us there. And follow Kreg and I. We've got the video. If you missed it on Facebook, or you don't want to watch it on Facebook, and you're not even on Facebook, you can always go over to YouTube. We post it there. Usually Monday morning, it's available on our Technorama podcast channel there. So you can't miss. And thank you once again to all of our Patreon patrons for their contributions to the show. Without you, we wouldn't have much of a show. But until next time, Kreg, give us a binary high five.
All right. 101. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. And thank you very much for everyone who's watching live on Facebook. We appreciate you jumping in, your comments, and hanging out with us for an hour or so. But right now, we're going to shut down the stream and go record our Patreon show. And with luck, we'll see you again here next week. So, till then, take care. Bye now.
All right. Bye, everybody.